Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Ben Briscoe. We got Tim Buckley and Chad Silver.
It is so good to be here with you all today on a Friday, too.
Yes, we appreciate you watching however you are. Facebook, on Fire Stick, Roku, WFMY News 2. There's a lot of ways to do it.
I know that weather is definitely top of mind for a lot of people, especially going into the weekend, but you're just kind of all over the place, aren't
It's
you?
kind of a weird day because the morning was so bad with the rain. You kind of heard that overnight. Then it's gotten really nice.
It was just hard to get out of bed, though. Like, the rain pouring down this morning, so heavy.
But now it's nice outside, and later it's going to get rainy again. So let's get right to it. Show you those weather graphics. We are looking at sunshine in Winston-Salem. It's honestly perfect to be outdoors, and you can be. Just kind of keep paying attention because those skies are eventually going to darken up a little bit. We're at 71 degrees, very comfortable to be outside right now. And notice the temperature is a little bit different across our area. It's in the mid-60s up north, mid-70s down to the south. We have a bit of a warm front that struggled to get to the north so far. But this is the radar, so look how it's changing. Right now, nothing new in Greensboro or Winston-Salem, but to the west, it is absolutely pouring as hard as you could imagine right now in parts of Wilkes County. Yes, there is some thunder and lightning in here. We have downpours just along 421 and north of it. Stone Mountain State Park really getting pounded with that rain also. And if you zoom in, we're not really seeing much in the way of hail just yet, but at some points today, as these storms kind of roll along, we could see hail and damaging winds become part of the forecast. So right now, we're going to keep an eye on the foothills. They're dealing with it at the moment. We're looking more at 6 to 8 p.m. in much of the triad. This is around 6 o'clock. This is closer to 7. We could see delays to events in the area. I know there are ball games, festivals, you name it, those things going on. This takes about an hour or two to move through. Once we get past 8 o'clock, things should be in pretty good shape. But 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., that's kind of that storm zone for the rest of this evening. Coming up, we're going to be talking more about the rest of your forecast. So what does the weekend look like? Which days should you be outside? And which days are not so good? That's coming up in a few minutes.
Keep up with storms moving through our area with the most accurate weather team in the triad. Download our free WFMY News 2 app to your phone. That way you'll always know what's happening near you.
3 new decisions by the state Supreme Court just into our newsroom will change the way the next election is held. In a 5-2 decision along party lines, the Republican-led court has reversed 3 previous decisions from when the Democrats used to lead the court. First, voter ID is now the law of North Carolina. Second, felons are no longer allowed to vote unless they meet certain requirements. And third, the court says they will not interfere in partisan gerrymandering because it's the General Assembly's constitutional right to draw the maps however they see fit. This is still a developing story. We'll have reaction to the news and more about what it means for you coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5.
The other big story this afternoon, the Carolina Panthers. The team is riding high after they selected quarterback Bryce Young in the NFL draft last night. There was a welcome party for the new QB at Bank of America Stadium today. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey has been in Panther mode since yesterday. Jalen, this day has been a long time coming.
A long time coming. And exactly 56 days, Chad, since the Carolina Panthers sent DJ Moore for 4 draft picks to Chicago in return for the #1 overall pick. And after nearly a month of debate, Carolina's newest quarterback has finally arrived at Bank of America Stadium. Earlier this afternoon, Young was officially announced as the newest Carolina Panther, and the Carolina faithful showed up by the thousands to get their chance to lay eyes on the newest Carolina QB. Young took time to take pictures and sign autographs with fans as he made his way to the podium to address the media and the faithful for the first time.
This is surreal for me, so I just want to say a thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Tepper, to Scott Fitter, and to Coach Reich and everyone who believed in me. This is an opportunity that I don't take lightly, I don't take for granted, and this is a huge blessing. I'm super excited to get to work. I'm super grateful for my parents and everyone who made this possible for me, and again, I couldn't be more ecstatic to be a Carolina Panther, and I'm ready to get to work.
Panthers fans seem to all be on board with the decision to take Young over #1 overall, and every time he speaks, it just seems like he has the right things to say. According to head coach Frank Wright, Young will not be handed the starting spot, and he will have to earn it. But Panthers fans keep telling me yesterday at the draft watch party, Bryce Young is the quarterback of the future in Charlotte.
Jalen, thanks. And check this out. Young is making himself comfortable at Bank of America Stadium, taking in the locker room. You can see they had it all ready for him with his name on a sign above his spot. He was in awe, calling his parents over and saying, "You got to see this. You got to check this out." They chimed in, noticing how spacious it was.
What a cool thing.
I love that.
I liken it to when your first day at school and or like when you go for family day to find your locker, to find your classroom.
Figure out where all the bathrooms are.
Absolutely, this is on a much bigger scale.
Absolutely.
And just so amazing because he's been working literally his whole life to get to this moment. And a lot of people who play don't actually make it there. And to know you got picked first, and it's like, wow, this is really happening. Like, this is huge.
It's kind of like how you were saying, Chad, it's kind of like the first day of college, right?
Yep.
You're moving in, you get to your dorm, you find everything, you get everything set up. But this is just on a much, much grander scale because of so much work that's been put into it, so much time that's been put into this. And then the last couple months after the season ended with just the interviews and the stress and the workouts and everything that were put in together to make this moment happen for Bryce. It's just unbelievable to see. And I'm so glad. I don't think Carolina could have brought in a better person.
And so many more people watching you do it too.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us are going to be watching his first workout, the first preseason games, and see how he does.
Not only the entire states of North and South Carolina, but being the #1 overall pick, you have the entire world's attention. So it's big shoes to fill, but I feel like he's ready to live up to the expectations.
I was thinking about that when he was talking earlier today, that just the pressure that he is under now, being #1. I mean, you have to carry this team and you have to do well. And your paycheck will reflect that, but you have to do it.
I was shocked that he said he's not automatically going to be the starter. It's not like there's a lot of other great options right now.
Well, they brought in Andy Dalton. He's a veteran, been in the league 13 years, so he will be able to guide Bryce to become that #1 guy eventually sometime this year, most likely. But
Make him work for it. Make him work for it.
Exactly. Can't start just giving people stuff, right?
Except that paycheck.
Oh, yeah. Very exciting. We'll be cheering him on. And there are 3 big-name North Carolina football players still on the draft board. Josh Downs, a wide receiver from UNC Chapel Hill, A.T. Perry, a wide receiver from Wake Forest University, and former Grimsley High School quarterback Hendon Hooker. We stopped by Hooker's draft watch party last night. Family and fans were in attendance. He didn't get selected last night, but has a chance in rounds 2 or 3 tonight. The former Tennessee Volunteer is coming off a major knee injury, but should still be ready for the upcoming NFL season. Former Panthers wide receiver and coach Ricky Prohl has some advice for players transitioning to the NFL.
For me, I was fortunate to play 17 years, and I played on some good teams and some great teams, and then some really bad teams. First of all, remember where you came from. Your dream, playing the National Football League. It's a blessing for any team, good or bad, to draft you.
I love that. Remember where you came from. Rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL draft pick back up at 7 p.m. The Panthers have 1 second and third round pick tonight, pending any trades.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, we're getting a closer look at damage that's forced the closure of a Winston-Salem road for a year. The city closed part of Bethabara Road because the culvert under the road is crumbling. It's closed between Old Town and Edgebrook. The city addressed the issue this morning.
What's going on now is we've got a culvert that goes under Bethabara Road. About 2.5 months ago, we were alerted to some cracking in the head wall, the upstream side of the culvert system, and we started doing some investigation. Investigation started as type of rehab situation, but as the investigation progressed, we've learned that the culvert system has some more prominent failures to it. That's what led to closing of the road.
The goal is to replace the sidewalk, the road, and the pipes. There are detours in place.
A slight delay for a huge Greensboro event. The Central Carolina Festival will now open later today at 5 o'clock. The first day was supposed to be yesterday, but it got rained out. Tonight, hopefully the rain won't be that bad for them. Tickets are $6. Small children and seniors get in free. The festival will run through May 7th.
You can get rid of your old personal documents safely for free. On Wednesday, WFMY News 2 is hosting a shred event at the Greensboro Coliseum Complex. A lot of people are expected, so there's a maximum of 3 boxes or bags. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Today we are talking about veterans and post-traumatic stress disorder, commonly known as PTSD.
Yeah, the Department of Veterans Affairs says 7% of all veterans have PTSD and will often not tell anyone.
It's why the VA and Department of Defense are among the national organizations supporting a groundbreaking new trauma therapy. It's called EMDR. It's an 8-step process focused less on talking and more on focusing with your eyes. Certified EMDR therapists use eye movements, tapping, or light to trigger a traumatic memory.
Researchers believe the stimulation helps the brain reprocess the memory and lessen the intensity of the pain. Though once considered taboo, the research-backed treatment now shows stunning results.
And one of the reasons we utilize EMDR so frequently is because of its effectiveness. And our latest results from the EMDR Institute is an 85% remission in post-traumatic stress symptoms when we use EMDR.
Licensed counselor Jennifer Smith is the clinic director at the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Cornerstone in Fayetteville. As one of a few veteran facilities in North Carolina offering EMDR, she acknowledged EMDR is not a one-ticket approach for any veteran, but she has seen firsthand how it can change lives.
Coming up tonight, we are digging deeper into EMDR, both the pros and the cons, plus why it works and who it's helping. So you'll see that tonight at 11. And really anything that can be done to help, because so many people, especially veterans, suffer with PTSD.
And it's not just veterans. I have a friend that was sexually assaulted, and she got this EMDR and it helped her, changed her life. So I do think it's good that they're trying new things.
I was going to pivot off of that. It's not just veterans. You have people who've been in car crashes, mass shootings, just very, near-death situations, sexual assault. And I think anything that can help, because maybe one version of therapy doesn't work for you and maybe this can work for someone else. I have heard about this type of therapy, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it really works.
And I'm on the opposite side. I've never heard of this, so I am also curious to see how it works. So you can catch that tonight at 11. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, those April showers, they've been coming in the last couple of days for sure. Today, you woke up to the rain. It was really heavy at times earlier this morning. Just a couple of numbers to pass along to you. A lot of areas picked up over 1 inch of rain so far today. That's just since midnight, of course. And you add that on top of what fell yesterday. Keep in mind, we got a lot of rain last evening as well. We've seen over 2 inches of rain in parts of the area in just that 2-day period. And remember, we're still tracking storms moving our way later on this afternoon and evening. If you're watching us right now from Wilkes County, Allegheny County, or Surrey County, you're dealing with some showers and storms. They are moving west to east across our area right now. Some of the biggest downpours I can find currently are in Wilkes County. And we're just north of 421 here. This is kind of where the hills really start to kind of get bigger, of course. Not too far from Elkin. This is right where Stone Mountain State Park is and not that far from the Blue Ridge Parkway. Downpours and at least half a dozen lightning strikes are happening right now. That's what's happening there. Now, if we take a 3D look at the storm on our News 2 radar, you'll notice it's growing. It's about 20,000 feet tall. Not seeing any signs of hail just yet, but we're going to keep on looking at that as it gets closer to much of the triad. We're in a level 1 risk of severe weather for this evening, which means there could be a couple of strong and severe storms, but not everyone will see one. Here's Futurecast. This is around 6 p.m. this evening, looking at Stokes County, Forsyth, and Yadkin getting the storms at that point. 7 and 8 o'clock, that's more in the line of Reedsville, Greensboro, High Point, and Lexington. There could still be some hail in those too, and maybe gusty winds, but by 9 and 10 o'clock, we are kind of behind the storms. It'll get cooler, temperatures dropping into the low 60s and upper 50s. Once this system passes us, we have a gorgeous, stunning day for tomorrow. There will be cloud cover in the morning, a little bit of fog early on as well, and then by the afternoon tomorrow, we'll see temperatures a lot warmer in the upper 70s. Sunday goes back to the dark side here. We're going to see some clouds and showers pretty much most of the day. Even a couple thunderstorms are possible early in the morning. Will clear out eventually on your Sunday afternoon. So to recap the weekend for you, we're in great shape for Saturday. A little morning fog could be out there. Sunday, not so much. So if you're trying to be outdoors this weekend, tomorrow is your pick. That's the choice that you'll want to make. And I mentioned the fog. Take a look here. This is our fog predictor. Take a look at how we could see visibility 1 to 2 miles tomorrow morning. That could be a little bit difficult at times. Flash forward to the 7-day forecast. You can see all of your systems coming our way. We're mostly just looking at tonight's storms, which again are now through about 9 p.m. And then Saturday, great weather. Sunday, that's when the rain and storms start to return to our area. Next week, looking to still be cool. It is not going to feel like May, and it's going to continue. Temperatures in the 40s in the mornings, 60s for the afternoons. The average high next week is 76 degrees. Doesn't look like we'll be there.
The Color Purple, the musical, is coming to Paramount Theater in Burlington. The director, Jay Smith, says it's a musical you really don't want to miss because it combines the 1982 Alice Walker novel and the 1985 movie with Oprah and Whoopi into a musical with a really important message. Smith dives into what you can expect.
It's a very universal story. This is a story of a person who has gone through a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of kind of oppression and just an incredibly difficult life. And she's trying to find her way home to this place that she feels love and welcome.
Tasha Dorsey plays one of the church ladies in the show. She's a teacher from the Triad who, like all the other actors and stage crew, donates her time and talent to give back to the community.
Community theater is so important. It allows people, even like me, who, I'm a teacher, but I get to live out, my dreams of being on the stage, a few times a year, doing community theater. And it's just such an important part of community.
We're gonna have to go see this one. Tickets for the Gallery Players production of The Color Purple are on sale right now. All shows are at the Paramount Theater on Front Street in Burlington. Showtimes and ticket information up there right now.
So this got us thinking. I asked you on Facebook, what movie or book would you like to see adapted to a stage play? Got a lot of answers here. Marcus says Black Panther. Carolyn wrote Shawshank Redemption and Steel Magnolias for sure. I had a few people who said that as well. Then Tyrone Newson says Purple Rain, Bruno Mars plays Prince. And then Mike Kendall said Dazed and Confused. But a lot of people said Steel Magnolias. That was on the list. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even seen that.
I've seen.
You've never seen Steel Magnolias?
It's a good movie,
No.
and I
Chad.
think there's a series adapted out of it too, as well.
And there's a play
not
version
big
too.
movie. I'm not really a big movie person.
Okay, but Steel Magnolias is a classic.
All right.
Something to add to the list to
Drink
watch.
your juice, Shelby, and watch it this weekend, okay?
For me, what I think I would like to see, so what makes a good play is, the costuming, if there's a way you can put music into it. I don't know if you ever saw the Netflix series Self-Made. It was about Madam C.J. Walker and how she became a black hair care pioneer.
That would be a good musical,
I feel like that would make a good musical because it was based in the 1800s and early 1900s. So I feel like the costuming could be a thing, and I really feel like they could set it up to be like a play, like different chapters of the play.
I have an idea. This just came to me. Remember that when we were young and we would read those choose your own ending books?
You want a musical that's choose your own ending?
Where you could if you want the prince to marry the bride, turn to this page. Or if you want the prince to fall off a cliff and die, turn to this page. What if you could just have a play and then have the whole audience vote at a certain point?
At intermission, you vote and then you come back and see what happens.
I think that could work because if I went on a different night, you went on a different night, I could say the play ended this way and that way. And as somebody that's in the play, you have a lot of different lines that you need to learn. You might be onto something.
It'd make
here.
you want to go back a couple more times.
It would. That is how you could draw more. I think that you just came on to something, Mr. Chad Silver.
If someone out there steals my idea, I'm coming after.
Make sure you copyright it. All right, more on this coming up. Stick with us. We'll be back after the break.
That
You
sounds
know
like
what
a
that
trigger.
means?
It is a trigger
It's
for Lauren.
Friday. Yes, and I'm dancing because it's Friday. Welcome back to the 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman, here with Ben Briscoe, Tim Buckley, and Chad Silver.
I feel like that tune needs to be just like, it can only be used on Friday.
Yes.
Right? Like it's just like a Friday song.
To celebrate for sure.
Yeah.
Although I'm not celebrating what's coming in a couple hours.
I'm just here to like ruin the mood.
I know, right? Well, you know what? I'm going to keep dancing. I'm going to dance in the rain,
producer.
too.
It's like we can't have that music when it's raining next. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be fine. There it's back. Yeah, we'll keep that
Oh,
going.
it's a different tune. Or is it the same one?
Oh, it's a little jazzier, I think.
It's the same tune, I think.
Either way, you got the same moves.
This one you're in the elevator, going up 30 floors somewhere. All right.
We're going to do the weather now.
Yeah.
And we're talking about rain and storms. Sorry, everybody. I had nothing to do with that. Rain and storms are in the foothills currently, and they're heading our way. You might be curious when they're coming to your areas. We'll be timing this out for you a little bit more specifically. But we have some downpours, thunder, and lightning that have just kind of started to form, kind of as expected, over in Wilkes County. Now, a lot of things going on there, unfortunately, and this is brand new, actually. We're just getting a new severe thunderstorm warning, so this is just popping up onto my screen. Downpours, lightning, thunder, you name it, has been happening in Wilkes County for a little bit now. Let's zoom in, though, to this storm that we're watching. It's right near Elkin at this time. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of Surrey, parts of Wilkes, parts of Yadkin County. The wind speed on this could be as high as 50 to 60 miles per hour, especially right here near Rhonda, which is in parts of Wilkes County there. This storm is moving off to the east. It does say that there is some rotation in this storm, so I'm going to have to take a look at that and let you know what we're seeing in those systems. All these are pushing off to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So the arrival times here, we're talking about Winston-Salem closer to around 6 p.m., Kernersville around 6:30, Greensboro by around 7. But again, severe thunderstorm warning if you are in Elkin. Be in a safe spot right now. Stay inside until it passes. At events around the Triad this evening, like the Hoppers, for example, have a doubleheader at 5. I think they'll be dry to start, but storm delays are certainly a possibility once we get closer to 7 and 8 o'clock in Greensboro. Keep an eye on the sky. We're going to have that latest radar for you every couple of minutes here on the newscast.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Police are looking for the suspect or suspects involved in a deadly shooting that led to a crash in Winston-Salem. It happened on East 14th Street, and it all started around 11:30 last night while police were responding to a shooting. Police say someone shot 41-year-old Miguel Ortiz, causing him to crash his car into a utility pole. Ortiz did not survive. Call Crime Stoppers with any information.
A Triad school will host a baseball game in honor of one of its players who died. South Stokes High announced their plans for a game against Elkin next Monday. The school is going to collect donations for the family of Blake Hughes. He died in a car crash on the way to his game on Wednesday. State troopers say the crash occurred on Highway 8 right near Walnut Cove. Funeral plans are underway.
A FedEx plane heading from Greensboro to Chicago had to turn around over Winston-Salem after one of its engines failed. That's according to public air traffic control transmissions. It happened just after 4 this morning. The plane turned around and landed safely back in Greensboro. We have made several calls to learn more, and as of airtime, we are still waiting to hear back.
The NFL has held a draft every year since 1936, but this year's draft had something we've never seen before. 3 of the first 4 picks last night were black quarterbacks: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Anthony Richardson. It was an important moment for a league that, for much of its history, didn't even have black quarterbacks.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young.
For Alabama's Bryce Young, it was a dream come true. The Crimson Tide quarterback, now the school's first player to be drafted first overall in the modern era.
As amazing as a moment this is, I'm going to try to live in this moment. I can't wait to get to work and start building off of it.
History was made again moments later.
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
Surrounded by family, the Ohio State signal caller burst into tears with his selection. He and Young becoming the first 2 black quarterbacks to be taken as the top 2 picks in the NFL draft.
I'm a living testimony that you can really do anything because I come from nothing. So I'm blessed to be on this stage.
But history was still in the making.
The Indianapolis Colts select Anthony Richardson.
When the 4th pick, Florida's Anthony Richardson, took the stage, it marked the first time 3 black quarterbacks have been selected in the NFL Draft's top 10. We spoke to Richardson earlier this week, who says the draft is just the beginning.
Get my name called, that's just the beginning of it. I'm going to work until I'm in the Hall of Fame and I'm Super Bowl MVP like those guys.
These guys still have to go out there and prove that they're worthy of the draft selection.
Jonathan Jones is the lead NFL insider for CBS Sports.
When we're talking about breaking barriers, just because you're the first, you want there to be more that come after you. What we want to see more of is that this does become commonplace.
Dana Jacobson, CBS News.
And that #1 overall pick, Bryce Young, landed in Charlotte this afternoon. Lots of Panthers fans welcomed him to Bank of America Stadium. Young spoke about the historic aspect of last night's draft.
Throughout the history of this league, there's been such a stigma on black athletes and black quarterbacks specifically, and I think that this is I'm honored to be a part of this, this history, and me and CJ, going 1 and 2, and then like you said, an Ant and 3 black quarterbacks going top 5, going top 4. It means a lot. There's so many people that had to be overlooked and had to start at a disadvantage, and there's so much that happened to allow this to come into fruition today. So I'm grateful for all the pioneers of the past that helped pave the way.
That's cool.
He also talked about how him and CJ were really good friends growing up.
Oh, awesome.
And what a moment that was for the two of them together. Like, they've known each other since middle school.
Wow.
So imagine being there with one of your best friends and that happening.
I like in the story how they were saying we can't let this be the last first. This is something that we have to continue, because I think we see this in other career fields as well, not just in football when it comes to quarterbacks, but you have the people who have the talent, they just have to be given the opportunity. So we have to be able to give the opportunity to more people, because there are, people that can do it.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in Charlotte. And he's so soft-spoken.
So soft-spoken.
And I mean, if you think about it, he's got to be the play caller, right? Obviously, he did it, with Alabama. But I mean, it's incredible how different someone can be, both like in a news conference and then on the football field. Just so soft-spoken.
And going off of that, the new franchise QB also talked to us about expectations with the Panthers.
This is surreal for me, so I just want to say a thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Tepper, to Scott Fitter, and to Coach Reich and everyone who believed in me. This is an opportunity that I don't take lightly, I don't take for granted, and this is a huge blessing. I'm super excited to get to work. I'm super grateful for my parents and everyone who made this possible for me, and again, I couldn't be more ecstatic to be a Carolina Panther, and I'm ready to get to work.
Just this month, the Panthers started their voluntary workout. Young will likely start preparing for practice now. Next month, the Panthers begin organized team activities. The NFL is expected to release the season schedule next month.
Panthers fans are sharing their thoughts on Bryce Young, including what some analysts are calling his weaknesses, specifically his size. David posted, "He's awfully small for an NFL quarterback. The question for me is, can his lack of height be compensated for by his skills?" Bill says if they try to throw him to the Wolves immediately, expect disappointment. This year's QB class is weak. They're not the kind that are going to immediately lead a big turnaround. All of them need development. And Allen shared, don't expect him to start right off. Needs to learn the NFL a bit more, learn defenses, then he'll be just fine, and need to draft some linemen to protect him too. Rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL draft pick up at 7 p.m. The Panthers have a 2nd and 3rd round pick unless there's a trade.
For so long now, it has been ingrained in all of us that people with a good or a great credit score, they're going to get the best deals on loans. But you might have heard starting May 1st, there could be cases where people who have middle of the road scores will actually pay less than people with stellar scores. The rumor is all over the internet, but it's not quite true. There are changes coming to how much a federally backed home loan will cost, and your credit score won't be as important as it used to be. But it's still important. We begin with the perspective of mortgage loan officer Al Bingham.
It's been a real big change. It's going to really hit the consumer hard when they go apply for a mortgage.
The changes are to the federal government's upfront fee to guarantee a home loan. Basically, the upfront fee to guarantee they will pay the bank off if you go into default. I talked with the federal organization making these changes, the Federal Housing Finance Agency. They said the updated fees are because of a new study about which loans are actually most likely to default. They found a high credit score did not always line up with a low risk of loan defaulting. Let's take a closer look at that for you. Check this out. A person may have a near perfect credit score but owns 5 separate houses. Well, the FHFA says they are more likely to default than someone with a lower credit score who has only 1 house that they will live in all of the time. They are now considering, in addition to this, if your loan is an adjustable rate loan, if there's a manufactured home, a multifamily unit, and how much your debt to income ratio is. If all those factors and a few more are exactly the same between borrowers, credit score will still make a difference.
Identical borrowers, right, applying for an identical product, all things being equal, will have the higher credit score borrower paying lower upfront fees.
Starting May 1st, credit scores will still be important, but not as important as they were before. This will not impact you, by the way, if you already have a current loan on your house, just new ones. The big question is, how much more will your bill change under the new agreement? I would love to answer that for you, but the truth is, it depends. The FHFA and mortgage brokers say there is a ton of factors that will go into deciding the rate for your loan and the fees, and each case will be different. So it would be unfair and inaccurate to give you an example, but the best thing you can do is talk with a mortgage broker before you start looking for a new home. They can give you a more accurate price of getting a loan. We'll be right back.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. All right, so you know this place, right? It's the city of Greensboro, but our town is also known as Greensboro. There are jean statues all around downtown, painted in all different kinds of ways. Greensboro was known for having the largest denim maker in the world. Cone Mills was founded in 1895, and their denim production, well, it just blossomed, right, with the Cone Mills White Oak plant. Further up north in Pennsylvania, VF Corporation, formerly Vanity Fair Mills, it was also growing at the time and bought Lee Jeans in the 1950s. Towards the end of the 20th century, VF and Cone Mills were the two largest jean makers in the world. And after VF got Wrangler under their belt, that's right, you know that name, they moved down to their new home in the good old Greensboro, Jeansboro.
I love Jeansboro, and I love that they've got all the little sculptures.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I still feel like at New Year's Eve we need to drop one of the jean statues down.
That would be interesting. I'd like to see that.
Or like a ball of denim or something.
A ball of denim. All right, do you guys have a favorite kind of jeans, like even if they're not the jeans that are in style now?
So when I was younger, I loved a flare leg, but now that I'm older, I love skinny jeans. Like, they gotta stick to my legs.
For me, it is give me some with a little bit of stretch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Okay.
Good pockets. That's all I care about.
Good pockets.
Yeah.
So you can put your phone back there and your wallet back there and all that kind of jazz.
Yep, and I like the little hidden pocket for the house key right here.
Oh, okay.
Or for the quarter if you're going to
Aldi.
That's right. All right, so we've seen jeans that were ripped and stonewashed and acid washed and bell-bottomed and whatever. Now we are seeing jeans that are, you ready for it? Recycled. New Frontier Company in Kentucky created this line of sustainable jeans made from recycled denim, and they call it circular, making them more environmentally friendly. It is the first U.S. company to launch a line like this.
99% of clothing that's out there today is not recycled, and then the stat of every second there's a garbage truck full of clothing being put into landfills.
So I took a gander at the website to see about this sustainable line, or circular as they call it. The prices were really pretty much in line with most other jeans, like the two women's pair of jeans that were there. They were like $89, so that's kind of like norm. Is the sustainability thing enough to make you want to buy a pair?
I would, because it's about the style too. So if it's helping the environment and it looks good, I don't see why not. And I feel like we upcycle jeans all the time. Like I'll go to a thrift store, cut it up, make it look like shorts.
Right.
So if this is actually helping the environment and it looks good,
why not?
I don't see a problem with it.
So the fast fashion is a huge problem, right? Like people buy an outfit, just wear it once on Instagram and toss it. My friends and I have kind of dedicated ourselves to switching all of our outfits around.
Oh,
so at
like
least,
swapping clothes within your group.
So at least you can still do that, but they get more than one wear.
Okay.
Like a free garage sale.
Yes.
Amongst your friends.
Every few months we just trade stuff.
All right, and this is another day of chat, but jean washing, the rule is to wash them every 3 to 10 wears.
That's a big range.
That's a big range.
That is a big range.
And I feel like I don't.
What you're doing in those jeans.
I don't do that. I kind of just wash them when I put them in the hamper.
They're going to shrink back down, and they just got stretched out.
That's good. I want them tighter because they're skinny jeans.
I'm the same way though. Like my jeans fit better right out of being washed versus stretched out.
Like 2 wears in.
Yeah, I'm a 3 wears kind of person before I throw it in there. You can put your thoughts on there.
10 wears.
In the
That's a lot.
page. I know, 10 wears.
Don't spill any mustard on your pants or anything, because you'd have to wash them a lot
blend it
sooner.
in. Just say it's a new style.
Yeah.
We're done with this.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Most of us are seeing a beautiful sky this afternoon, but there's one storm right now that's a pretty dangerous one in the western part of our area. We're talking about the foothills. We have a severe thunderstorm warning which continues now for parts of Wilkes County, Yadkin County, and Surrey County. The storm itself just went through Elkin. If you're in this area, I actually want to hear from you. It's always very helpful to see what people have seen on the ground. I'm pretty confident this is a bad storm for a couple of reasons, which I'll explain right now. We have a lot of lightning, number one, but there are lots of purples showing up on radar. When there are purples, that is a very rare thing to see. It usually means there's some large hail falling. This is downtown Elkin. That's I-77. This is Highway 268. That's probably where the largest hail is falling out of this storm right now. But there's also been rotation, which means this storm has been spinning, which means it's possible that at some point, if it spins a little tighter, we'll be talking about a tornado warning, not a severe thunderstorm warning. This storm is pushing into Yadkin County after that, but I've extended the arrival times to include Winston-Salem. If the storm continues on its current path, it will be in Winston-Salem around 6 o'clock this evening, and then from there, it would move closer to High Point and Greensboro. The Futurecast bears that out. We do have nasty concerns for storms through about 6 to 7 o'clock in Greensboro. Burlington maybe closer to 8 o'clock for you, and then by 9 to 10 o'clock, we're all pretty much out of the woods when it comes to storms. But in the meantime, you can enjoy the weather, but you got to keep your phone with you because that weather could change very quickly through about 8 p.m. this evening. Just stay alert. 7-day forecast. We have beautiful weather for tomorrow. There will be some fog in the morning. I've actually lowered our temperature a couple degrees. We're at 75 there. And then Sunday, good chance of rain and storms to continue in our area.
Tim, thanks. And the chance for severe weather could be potentially impacting baseball games. For example, the High Point Rockers are hosting the Long Island Ducks for their home opener. Tonight's game actually marks 31 years of professional baseball in High Point. To celebrate, they initially planned to have fireworks, but because of weather concerns, they have now been pushed to tomorrow night. We just found this out on Twitter. First pitch tonight is at 6:35.
The Greensboro Grasshoppers also have a game tonight, 2 to be exact. The team has a doubleheader tonight due to weather delays yesterday. The Grasshoppers say they will honor the tickets for last night's game for any regular season matchup. Now here's what you need to know about tonight. The Hoppers are playing the Rome Braves. Both games will be 7 innings long. The first pitch for the game one is about 10 minutes. Last night's game will start right after tonight's originally scheduled game as long as the weather holds. They also say still at this point there should be fireworks at the end, but again, it's all about the weather.
So what's your favorite summer activity in the Triad? I asked you on Facebook. Brittany Wall says going to City Lake Park with my family on July 4th. Roderick Hines wrote baseball, games, fishing, and concerts. Amber Van Landingham, summers in the Triad are the best. You have to walk downtown, go to any food festival. They are posted all over Facebook. Grill out with friends or family and walk the beautiful trails. David Cornelius wrote Wet and Wild. Lots of fun things to do in the summer.
Mine revolve all around water.
Yeah.
So you said triad activities, so it takes out the beach, but I love to go to the pool. I love to tube down the dam
That's
river.
what I was gonna say.
One of my favorite things.
So relaxing and calming, and it's just fun when you're with a bunch of friends and you tie the tubes together and you go down together.
I would have to say, as far as Triad activities, my favorite so far since I've been here have been the Grasshoppers games. I went to 3 last summer. One was a doubleheader. I just love it when the weather is good. It's not too hot. You know, get you a hot dog, a nice little beer. You're in the shade, and it's really entertaining. I really love it.
You know, I also love to take a picnic to the Arboretum and just lay out on a blanket there with some music and chill.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Cool. Hanging Rock, also.
Oh, I
Another
still
good
have
one.
not made it there yet.
We'll be right back.
We live in a great place, y'all.
Body Works in the stars. Thank you. I love it.
Hello, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Hi there, 123, 123, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're watching some.
Just this week, Lauren, Tesla's opening a new deal.
Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. I don't know what this is.
Mic check, Michaela, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Can you feel it yet? Hope is back for the Carolina Panthers. After some very, very rough seasons, there is a plan to return to the playoffs and even take the big prize. Someone asked owner David Tepper, what does it mean for Carolina to land quarterback Bryce Young last night? His response? Super Bowls. Do you remember how long it's been since the words Carolina Panthers and Super Bowls have even been in the same sentence? Sure, it is the team owner who said it, and he wants to put forward a good front. But this is an exciting time for us Panthers fans. Bryce Young is fantastic. He's award-winning, has a strong track record, and seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. But he is not what is making me most excited right now. I am hopeful because the Panthers seem to have a new approach to the game. They are going all out to fix problems with the team's offense, trading and buying their way into the #1 pick at the draft. They've also brought on new coaches who specialize in the offense. It is clear the Panthers are done with years of half steps to try to fix the problem. No longer are we just putting duct tape on it and hoping things will be okay. This season seems like an all or nothing attempt, and I can't wait to be there to cheer them on. That's my 2 cents. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Right now, you can see some strong storms moving across the Piedmont.
Let's get right to it. Our chief meteorologist, Tim Buckley, is watching the radar very closely. Tim, you're watching one area in particular.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's honestly about one storm itself.